to talk about using technology to kind of enhance the customer experience. So you have, I mean, anybody interested in what's happening in that mobile area in exhibits a little bit? Couple? I'm going to go through, you've heard about Condit. We've been, one thing is a common surprise, and business is 1945. I think that's just a long time to be established. So again, I'm just going to go through some quick data slides that I think is really interesting. I think this is true, isn't it? That if we lose our wallets, it kind of takes time to find it. I mean, I left my credit card. I'm like, I'll go back the next day and ask about it. I don't freak out. If I leave my phone at a bar, I mean, you're literally, it's like midnight. You're like, God, I didn't open. You know, you're not gonna. I mean, you're really gonna go back. And I think how people are making transactions on mobile. The mobile is probably something, one piece. And now mobile's gone to tablet. So you can kind of see by this data point how important it is. So this is even worse than a trade show. I like to put this slide up, things that are dead. You kind of look through here, I keep adding to it, you know, like snail mail bills, long distance charges, you know, books made of paper. It's kind of funny, isn't it, that how iPads and I have the Kindle and things like that. I still do like to read newspapers, it's a sign of the times, but I'm starting to switch over reading the New York Times online because it's so interactive, right? I mean, you have videos embedded, you have some ads. I mean, they're really targeting, you know, what kind of things I like. I mean, like Rolex watches, obviously they know how much money I don't make, so I think that's very interesting. So again, I keep adding to this, so is there anything else on here that probably should go on this list? If you're using this, that's okay too. Okay. Had somebody, I gave a talk in Boston, and people were like, I use half those. So these are things to think about your company though, right? Or your customers, or your prospects. These are how I really start to think about this. Like, should we start thinking in a different way? Not getting away of print ads, but maybe enhancing that experience a little bit more. So I think it'll happen, I call this a splinter net, right? So these are all the new terms that we're all struggling with as marketers. I mean, QR codes we've heard of, we've seen really bad experiences we'll talk about. I mean, whether it's location-based services, of course we heard of Twitter, we're still trying to figure out social media and how, if it's effective or not effective. And Instagram, of course Facebook, and does anybody here have Facebook stock? It's getting down to that price that we can all probably afford it, and it'll be like that 5-6 years from now, we're like, damn, we should have bought it. Who here sleeps with their phone? It's okay. I know. Like cuddled right there, it's warm, little cozy blanket. But again, your customers, when they are out on planes, you walk through an airport, you sit on an airplane, what are they doing? What device is out most of the time? I mean, maybe their iPad, maybe their computer, but for the most part, they're on those devices, looking at information, spreadsheets, writing proposals. I mean, now it's getting easier and easier. I mean, I have clients and contacts that can write proposals on iPhones, and I think that's incredible, actually. But now iPads are making that a lot easier, or any other tablet. This is a data point that I think this is going to grow, that all our executives, I mean, it's an affluent thing to own. I mean, I say that. I mean, I don't have it in here, that 90, what was the data point? 90-some%, it's over 90% of CEOs have iPads. I don't know how they use them, but maybe they play Angry Birds or something. But I think they do use it for business. So this all goes back to the term, it's actually a term called nomophobia, which means when you lose your phone, or you can't find it, or you get a little nervous and you start doing that dance, that Macarena dance, they call it. We've all done it. Like, you're at I talk about, I'm not saying, like, oh, you leave a library, a bar, but you're like, you know, so I think we're really nervous, and so we know that. So people going to trade shows or events, they have that device with them, right? So we want to engage with them. But most people have cell phones now. So how many email addresses do you typically have? You personally, work, personal, too. That Yahoo account you don't look at anymore, but you only sign up for things on it. So the average is like 3 to 4. Right? Especially with targeted audiences. So mostly how many cell phone numbers do you think people have? Probably one, right? I mean, maybe 1 or 2 if they have a business phone and a personal phone, right? But this is something to think about as you start targeting these people. So here's what I see kind of using at events. We're going to talk a little bit about these, and Barry, he'll come in too, but audience response, we did some work with a client at Condit on this that was really successful. I'll talk about events apps. Gamification is this big word that came out. It's really expensive right now, but there's some, I'll just talk briefly about it, where to go to find more information. It's a one player out there. Again, tying this all in with marketing and sales automation is still key. So I'm not saying go away from anything you're doing, just how do you add this in the mix? We'll bring up a proximity marketing kind of tool that I'm finding really great. All this helps with broader brand engagement. And then what I'm seeing at events, especially trade shows, is touchscreens and iPad stations, and then how this is all connecting to your sales system. So if you use Salesforce or any other type of, Salesforce has always made it really easy for them. They have what they call this kind of middleware, this API. So as salespeople are pulling down data, when they make information for trade show, it's automatically updating it. So what happens when you go back as a marketer, you get a bag of leads or the electronic spreadsheet or it's misfilled out. And so we're trying to make that a lot easier through mobile technology for this is what's happening. Any questions?